This is probably going to be one of the most honest reviews you'll find on YouTube about Rivian and Tesla. And honestly, Rivian and Tesla may hate me after this. I might not even get invited to any events, but I had to make this video to just inform you guys. So I don't know if you've seen these weird looking cars on the road. The headlights look like bug eyes. The logo looks like a symbol straight out of Star Wars, but this is the Rivian electric vehicle. And if you don't know who I am, I'm Everydaychris, where I review electric vehicles like Teslas. And as a tech guy, whose tech is better or as good as Tesla? And whenever I saw Rivian, I just thought, man, that is just a better and cooler Tesla without all the weird drama. I know so many Tesla owners who are switching to Rivians or who'd rather buy a Rivian over a Tesla. So I decided to borrow the new Gen 2 Rivian R1S for an entire month and put it to the ultimate test. Drive over 1,000 miles to one of the busiest national parks in the world with tight turns and windy roads and little charging because everyone said the Gen 2 Rivian is amazing. Now I did do a dedicated video on that. And oh yeah, Rivian didn't pay me for anything and Tesla didn't either. But let's rewind 3 years ago to the Rivian R1T, which is their first electric pickup truck, because this is very important. Yes, the R1T was super cool with the gear tunnel and all the cool stuff. It was so fast, but the handling and suspension, it felt very boaty. I didn't feel like I was in control, but it was a truck, so it's expected. Overall, it wasn't a bad vehicle, but I'd never get one back then because of the limited charging options and no access to the Tesla superchargers. But here's controversial conversation number one. Am I right or wrong? Let me know, because honestly, I feel like 90% of car manufacturers out there today is doing what Rivian's doing. 3 years ago, Rivian's Driver Plus assistant features weren't that good. Today, I feel like it's the exact same. It does an okay job staying in a straight lane, but once it curves, it's a hit or miss. It freaks out when there's no road markings, even if it's just a small segment of it. Even on major highways like the 5 freeway in California, it'll suddenly stop working randomly. Okay, so highway assist is activated because it can see the lines. Well, look at it. It's just going all over this road. Look at the steering wheel. There, take control now. Highway assist off. Why? Lanes not detected. It's like constantly doing that. One thing I also hated was when it was near like a big truck, it would stick to the middle of the lane no matter what, even though the truck was coming really close to our lane. Why is it so close to the right side? I do not feel comfortable with that. And that's with all the other car manufacturers. All that's the same thing. With Tesla, however, it knows if there's a truck and it actually moves to the farthest part of the same lane to try to stay away from them. And it does this with motorcyclists too. Pretty much the Rivian has no brain, and I feel like it's a super old version of Tesla's autopilot. But if you compare that to Tesla, when I first got full self-driving beta, when it first came out in 2021 with all the blocks and dotted lines, and now it can almost drive me to work by itself, traffic circles and everything. And yeah, sure, I may die, but it's nice to know I'm in a vehicle actually progressing and making the future the future. So let's talk about controversial conversation number 2, because this is a big one. Drop in the comments if you own or have driven a Tesla and feel the same way, because so far everyone I've talked to who had a Tesla and got rid of it, that's the first thing I want to know. Why'd you get rid of your Tesla? They moved on to Mercedes, BMW, Polestar, all electric of course. The one thing they love about the other brands, range accuracy. It says you'll have 200 miles, you'll get 200 miles or even more. With Teslas, and I do agree with this to some extent, when it says you get 200 miles, you may get only 180 miles. It does tell you why on the screen, like why you lost miles, but it's very interesting to see that everyone I've spoken to says the same thing. The range in a Tesla is just not accurate at all. With my road trip to Yosemite with the 410 mile Rivian Max battery pack, baby, it was amazing. Being able to drive and not worry about the charging was something I didn't even realize. Now, one thing people, aka Tesla owners, never realize is how much time you save when you have a larger battery pack. A lot of people are like, you never need a large battery pack because you're never going to be driving nonstop for 4 hours, which is true. But with the Rivian, I could go to a Tesla supercharger, charge to only 80% and be done, and have more miles than other Teslas at 100%. And if you guys didn't know, anything above 80% takes forever to charge. But because the Teslas don't have as many miles, we may have to charge above 80% sometimes, and that can take 40 plus minutes. With the Rivian, regardless where I was done charging in 20 minutes tops, which was huge. I don't know. I feel like Tesla could have easily added more miles to their vehicles because they're one of the first ones to have electric vehicles out there. But the real question is why they aren't doing that. Okay, ready for controversial topic number 3. This is a fun one. Build quality. Come on, guys. Let me know. Tesla's build quality, it's a hit or miss, but it's so random. I mean, I went with my friend to get his 2024 Tesla Model Y, ran into some random issues. Like he had the old style reflector headlights instead of the projector headlights that all the other Teslas have. How? How did that even happen? It was so bad I even made a delivery checklist for people to inspect their cars so they don't miss something once that 500-mile warranty expires. Even with Tesla being around for this long, there's still tons of build quality issues. For the most part, a lot of people are very, very happy, which is totally fine. For some reason though, the only thing we see on news is Tesla's build quality, never any other brand. So I thought Rivian's quality control was good with no issues. For my Rivian loaner media car, this is the car they give to media people. You would think they would give like the best of the best, make sure it's in tip-top shape. I had a couple issues. One of my door was much harder to close than the others. My blind spot monitoring didn't work at all. I was told auto steer would work with this version, but for some reason it does not work. So if I want a lane change, I have to do it myself. My Driver Plus system just died randomly on the road trip. Nothing's working. My GPS voice navigation didn't work no matter what I tried. But comparing it to my friends with bigger issues, it's not that bad. One of my friends just got his brand new R1T. His motor died in his driveway. They ended up buying the Rivian back from him. That's how bad it was. Another friend just got his, and he even made a blog about it, about all the fit and finish issues that he had that were not even fixed, and he went into service multiple times. So you can check that out if you want to see that. So don't think just because you don't get a Tesla, all your problems will go away. It happens to other car brands too. Now, controversial number 4. If you ever driven or test driven a Tesla, one of the great things is no matter what model you get the performance. Great handling. Although it may be too rough and bumpy for some people, you get instant acceleration with instant power. You can hug the curves. Great control. It feels like a comfy sports car, even in the bigger Model Ys and X and even the Tesla Cybertruck. Now, one new thing about the Gen 2 Rivians is that they changed the suspension to make it smoother with better control. And yes, on straight roads and low speeds, the car felt comfortable, absorbs the bumps, and it was easy to drive. But introduce highway speeds, curves, and windy roads, I was extremely disappointed. My R1S came with the 22-inch wheels with the range wheels, and if this is the better suspension, I can't imagine what the Gen 1 R1Ss were like. With quick turns, I felt like I was gonna roll over, felt very loose, not planted on the ground at all, and I was on sport mode with the lowest suspension. My dogs were just rolling all over the place. So look at the suspension first off. I'm on sport firm suspension. It's so boaty. Even my wife, Everydaychris, felt the same way whenever she had to abruptly take over when the driver assist features wouldn't work. It just didn't feel like you were in control and she didn't really feel safe. The steering wheel is also very big and has a soft wheel feel when turning, and it honestly felt like I was driving a Lexus. Now, again, everything that I'm talking about right now, and this is important, it's in comparison to a Tesla. So for me, it's like the equivalent of comparing the performance of a BMW or Porsche with a Toyota Camry. Number 5, I'm not sure if it's because it's so tall in the back, but driving the R1S felt like I was driving a big car, and it really felt like a big car. Compared to the size of the Model Y, the Rivian R1S is gigantic, and it's great for tall people like myself, lots of headroom and interior space, easy to get in and out. But if you're a kid or you're elderly, because of that high ground clearance, you may have some trouble getting in and out. And mine was on the lowest setting as well. But if you compare it to the Model X, the Model X is much lower to the ground, so it's easier to get in and out. And with the huge curved glass roof, you still get lots of interior space in the front, but not as much in the rear and the trunk. And driving the Model X, even though it can fit 7 people, it feels like I'm driving a small sports car. Now, this was a disappointing one. Number 6, sound system, bruh. Like people always said, Tesla's sound system is so good. Tesla's sound system is so great. Even the cheapest, most basic one has the most amazing sound. Yeah. I honestly thought the Model Y premium sound system didn't really sound that good. I wasn't the biggest fan, but after driving the Gen 2 R1S, the Model Y sound system, best sound system in the world. I triple checked too. I was like, how is it this bad? There's no way. I emailed Rivian just to make sure that my Gen 2 had the premium top of the line new sound system, but sweet Jesus of all that is good and holy, that Rivian sound system is like legit It's supposed to even work better with Dolby Atmos, so I even got the Apple Music with Dolby Atmos to see, and it was still booty. Now, I consider myself semi-audiophile, and the best sound profile is the most neutral EQ, and I did my best to keep it like that. But holy moly, it was so bad. It sounded like someone put a towel over the speaker, so you get zero midtones. Everything sounds so muddy. It sounds horrible. And I'm not the only one. Even the Rivian forums, people are complaining, and they're making their EQ insane to try and get the best sound. So I tested this. Now, it's not a scientific test, but I tested it with my DJI mic using 32-bit float audio. But with this alone, you can definitely hear the difference. Now, in Rivian's defense, I'm not sure if my model was affected, but now that I think about it, it may have been, because there's no way it could be that bad. There's been a recall for certain Rivian models where they installed the incorrect amplifier. People are saying that they had the wrong one and just bricks the audio so you don't hear anything. But man, that alone was a huge letdown and shocking, because at $1,750, I thought it would be totally worth it spending that extra money on that good sound system. All right, guys, number 7, time to talk tech. Rivian always tries and says that they never want to copy Tesla. They want to be set apart from Tesla. Well, Tesla, camp mode, dog mode, sentry mode. You can view the cameras while in park. Rivian, oh, I like that. I like those features. Let's go ahead and add our own version of camp mode, dog mode, gear guard. Now with gear guard, you can view the cameras while in park. Rivian was the first though to have the auto level suspension when camping your car. But man, tech wise, Rivian, and not just Rivian's fault, every other car brand is always playing catch up with Tesla. Tesla's full self-driving, auto park, summon, all these features are all amazing compared to Rivian. And while Rivian is slowly catching up, it always seems to be a few years behind Tesla. Even the Tesla app is amazing. You can almost do anything with the vehicle through the phone. Now, the Rivian app did get better from 3 years ago when I tested it, but for instance, I wanted to turn my outlets on in the Rivian R1S through the app, couldn't do it. But one amazing thing though about the Rivians are the physical stuff. The Gen 2's cameras, an amazing 4K HD 360 panoramic view monitor so you can see everything, and I love that. Matrix LED headlights finally came, and it actually works. I thought you needed some sort of permit from the DOT or something like that, but it's so cool. High beams are on, it sees cars, turns off that section. It's amazing, works great. Really helped in the middle of the night in the pitch black darkness on the Yosemite roads. The integrated flashlight in the door was super clutch when I forgot mine. The external removable speaker, now an upgrade, but still awesome to have. And the air inflator is also an upgrade now, and it's still good to have if you had it. So overall, not too bad. Now, topic number 8. It's great, but it's also extremely stressful. Now, I drove the R1S over 1,000 miles, pretty much charged at Tesla superchargers 80% of the time. While it's amazing I could charge at Tesla superchargers, I had 2 major issues. First, it's probably the most stressful experience if the supercharger is busy and there are not that many of them. Why? Because of the location of the charge port, you have to hog 2 spots. There were so many times someone would park next to me only to be super confused as to why their cable wasn't there for them to charge. So I had to just apologize, tell them I'm sorry, I'm almost done charging, even though I wasn't. This person's coming in, another person's coming in. Uh-oh, she opened up charge port. Hi there, I'm using the charger. Nobody knows. And while they were super nice and cool about it, what if someone not so nice comes and gets super pissed? Second, I thought it was super reliable with 0 issues. However, one of the stops for me, for some reason, the Rivian wouldn't charge. There were no issues with the station on the screen, but anytime I plugged it in, it would say starting to charge, but it just wouldn't charge. I finally got it to work after the 4th try. And again, this is all in my Yosemite video, but man, it got me thinking, because it's a third-party thing, What if one day there's some sort of glitch or issue and the Rivians can't charge at a Tesla supercharger while you're on a road trip? You're screwed. But Teslas, because it's their charging network, 70,000 miles, 4 years later, no issues with charging. Now, interesting topic number 9. Now, while the interior of Teslas, it's roomy, you have that huge glass curved roof with most of them. Sleeping in the Tesla, packing it up, it's not nearly as good as the Rivian R1S. Like seriously, we had a giant fridge, loads of luggage, and with the boxy interior, the lay flat seats, high roofline, my dogs had so much space they could easily sit up. It was amazing. There's also a huge front. You have an outlet in the back. You can go off-roading. There's so much utility in the R1S versus the Model X. You also get tons of visibility and light with very, very little blind spots. The interior feels very welcoming and inviting, very premium. And although it's just a screen for the majority of stuff, like Tesla, it doesn't feel cold and minimalistic like Tesla. When I'm in a Rivian, when I see other Rivians, it makes me feel something inside I just can't explain. I just want to be outdoors. I want to go camping. And Rivian has invested a ton in their aftermarket outdoor accessories like an outdoor kitchen, a legit rooftop temp, and other accessories. And the lighting also, ambient lighting, the interior, the mood lighting is just so good. So that's how I kind of felt over the course of a few weeks. I drove it. I drove the Rivian R1S. So would I buy a Rivian R1S? If money wasn't an issue, yeah, I'd buy it for sure. Even though their autopilot sucks and charging can be a hassle, it still worked fine overall. I love the interior, the lighting, the utility, the range. I love how the seats fold flat. It's big enough where I can camp inside. But this is the real world, baby. I don't have all the money in the world. I'd probably wait on buying the R1S. As far as driving goes, I'd say the Model X would be way easier on road trips with the autopilot and the charging. And while it's not as big, the handling is super useful if you need it. It's weird. Don't quote me on this, but I feel like Rivian spent all their budget on design, branding, and engineering. And then they have one guy who knows nothing about audio doing the audio, and one other person living in the year 2000 doing the self-driving features. Here's the thing, elephant in the room. Tons of people I know hate Elon Musk. They hate him so much they're either selling their Tesla or they're never gonna buy one to support Elon. And if that's the case, Rivian is a great choice. Other people who have never owned a Tesla, when they go to Rivian, they think it's a great car, it's awesome, which it is. But when you go from a Tesla with all the tech and performance and all that stuff, you're spoiled. They just added new features like parental controls, automatic open trunk and frunk, and now they might even have their own Apple Watch app. I love Tesla for the tech because I'm a tech guy, not because of Elon Musk. I mean, it does take eccentric people to make great things, but that's neither here nor there. But Rivian is a great car. They create beautiful stories to make their branding something you love and want. The Yosemite Rivian Outpost, sure, it's an hour out of the way, but it was so worth it. Workers were amazing. Free coffee, snacks, merchandise. I mean, if you really want to dumb it down, Rivian is a nice car with some tech. The Tesla is a computer on wheels, and it always pushes boundaries outside of the norm. They have to be unique. First car to have a giant screen for everything. First car to have Falcon Wing doors. First car to have gearless stocks. First car to have a yoke steering wheel. They try and have something unique to set themselves apart. And that was always my impression, that Rivian was just a better Tesla at first until you actually drive it. Then you realize how much you miss your Tesla. But who knows? I still got my order for the R2, so I'm hoping this will be their bestseller and they improve on certain things. I'm excited though, regardless. Anyways guys, hope that video helped you. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.